the club have to decide whether they're going to run their races performance handicap or measured. So that's the starting point. There's no point being measured if they're not going to run a measured set of results.
It can be from no involvement whatsoever, through to something we find works extremely well is when there is an advocate or someone within the club who helps an owner. So a club, what we found is extremely useful is when a club, actually someone there will work with the owners, someone who's got experience of getting a boat rated before, of getting the measurement processes done. They can be very useful in trying to help owners who have less experience getting their boat measured. Another thing that's very useful with a club is getting a group of owners together. Say you need to get your boat measured, say you need to get your boat weighed. Get a group of 10 owners together at the same time. Hire the crane once. Everyone pays a percentage of getting the crane weighed, the crane in. Everyone helps each other get their boats into condition, getting their boats to the dock, and it can actually be quite a lot of fun. Then the club can help, basically getting everyone, making sure that their data is accurate.
The club would help facilitate getting your boat measured. It'll put you in touch with the people you need to talk to.
Club captain, and I'm sure unbeknown to me, he would be talking to boat owners who are sailing particularly well, and he would probably be saying, well, you know, you should go and get a rating. You're doing well under performance and getting penalised for it. Go and get your boat measured and get a rating. I don't go out and actually canvass and encourage boats to get measured for a rating, but I think that's more the role of the sailing committee and the club captain.
The administrative role, it's one of those things of being that hub to make sure that there's consistency across the country.
I think also it coordinates the consistency within, YA within Australia.
YA is the regional authority for various rating rules, ORCI, IRC, that sort of thing. So they coordinate on a national basis all the rated boats in Australia under those systems.
And liaise between the boat owner, the measurers and UK.
Yeah, rating office in UK.
Yeah.
Coordinates ratings under the ORC and IRC systems across Australia.
Actually manages the rating, so they'll issue the certificates and so forth, and they'll also help coordinate with all the individuals involved.
And they're really there to help you get your rating at the end of the day.
The measurer is an independent, qualified and trained individual that is made available to the yacht and the owner to take the measurements, and is independent of the process of establishing the rating itself.
A fairly fundamental one, I guess. We're the ones with the tape measures or the plumb bobs and the spirit levels and so forth, and so it's up to us to engage the owner and ensure that the owner is fully aware of their responsibilities prior to something being measured, and having a representation there as we're measuring. We just audit the numbers.
I think we also produce a consistency in the way that we actually measure boats, be it with tape measure or weighing instruments and so forth. We actually make sure that through our training that we can deliver consistency and quality-driven measurements.
They're there as an extension of Yachting Australia, an extension of the club, to make sure that everyone is racing with fair and accurate data.
Well, it's an interesting question. It takes, if an owner rings me up, we'll have a chat about it first, and I ask him what he's doing, what he intends to do, where does he want to go from here, and then when we've discussed which system suits him, on my computer I've got documents that I've written. For example, it says something like, this is the IRC, these are the measurements we'll need to take for IRC, this is how we measure it, this is what you've got to do, this is what I've got to do, and I will invoice you for it. And I estimate there's 2 hours work or something like that. With ORCI, a little more complex, but I've got a similar document I send out to them, so they become part of the process.
Okay, so the measurer themselves, they're there to measure the boat. So physically there to take the measurements, to help you understand getting the boat into measurement trim, those kind of things, and to, I guess, assist you if you're for submitting your data and those kind of things.
If they choose to go ahead, then I have an owner-customer relationship, and and that goes on for years, because I get involved not only with establishing the initial ratings, but then amendments, and I get a lot of what ifs. What if I do this, and what if I do that? If it's going from a fractional to a masthead spinnaker, I can say, well, I estimate that'll mean a change of so many points, but if you want to know for sure, we'll run a trial. So I do end up by being an advisor on what their options are. I would probably make recommendations. If you want a firm answer, we'll run a trial certificate, or I'll explain their options to them.
We'll take all the measurements required. We'll weigh the boat, we'll measure the sails.
The measure will take the measurements that are required to be entered into whichever measurement system you're going to rate under.
Their role is to make sure that the data is correct for each boat that they check.